So I wanted to give a honest review about Warborne as a person who's never really played this style of game. I dabbled in a little bit of Albion, mostly played MMOs like World of Warcraft, Lost Ark, um, some Aeon over the years. Kind of dates me a bit. But I wanted to give an honest review on this game after I'd say roughly 3 days of playing it, going through the systems, the seasonal mechanics, what PvP I found, how I'm receiving the game as a new player. I mean, it seems exciting. It definitely has things that grab my attention and keep me interested and make me want to log in and play it. Um, and there's definitely some things that deter me, possibly from my inexperience in this genre of game. I think let's start with the first point. I think the first thing would be that I often find myself not really sure of what to do, and I guess a lot of that comes from the sandboxy aspect of the game. And you know, coming from games like World of Warcraft and Lost Ark, where your progression is kind of linear and it's kind of pointed out to you and what you should be doing and maximizing your time and being as efficient as you can be. That I feel like that's one thing that kind of, I wouldn't say deters me, but it's not the greatest feeling. Like when you log in and you're just like, you see all these things and you're just like, you see all these big announcements on the screen. You have no idea what it means, what's going on. The chat for some reason seems a little delayed and like quite unresponsive. The community doesn't seem very responsive to newer players, but I'm assuming, being how new it is, a lot of people are probably in this situation. So not going to judge it too harshly on that. I think I would definitely recommend this game for people to try, come in and play. It's a seasonal game. It seems to have really good catch up mechanics. I didn't feel like when I ran into other players like I was getting decimated. I think that it felt possible. I started the game. I started playing with a small group of friends, which was actually very exciting. I think that's uh, I think that's paramount too. Almost necessary. If you start this game with a couple of buddies and you guys just roam around, and you guys have played similar games and you kind of have a general idea of what you're doing, when it comes to combat or whatever. You played League of Legends and you kind of got that top down aspect of combat down. And I think there's definitely enjoyment to be found raiding these little outposts. And I found these fire. Let me see. I have the item. Advanced fire eater traps. When you find some people summoning these and killing them over and over, you get some really good benefits from that. I've also found finding camps with mobs and bosses that are close to my level. I found that to be a lot of fun. I usually look on the map and they're usually in these areas with these um, bullhead horns. Another thing that I do kind of wish that there was, like when I mouse over some of these things, and especially in the city, the underground bazaar, the shops. I As a newer player, I guess maybe this is why, but I feel like it was just a little more informative. I wish you moused over this and it said, "Hey, bring X amount of this material. You can summon this boss." Uh, wish there was timers on some of these scrap posts. They're pretty important. I mean, the quest seems to lead you to them a lot. I think that would be exciting. And also, if it had more these fire eater traps, if it had more of a situation like in Diablo 4, uh, there were posts and outposts where you would insert materials as a group. Like people would insert the materials to summon the boss. These fire eater traps seem to be locked to the one person has to put all the materials, and I've seen some of these be up to requiring up to like 70 of them. So I think that would be nice if it was, more of like a community driven thing where multiple people can insert materials and summon the boss. I think that would just make that a little more exciting, a little more engaging, maybe some benefits for the other faction to come over and bother you while you're doing it. The other factions, plural. it's multiple factions, and I kind of just did what was recommended. So I don't really know, how to determine which faction is stronger. I mean, obviously, I would say looking at the map, maybe this faction that's controlling the middle. I mean, that always makes sense to me. They seem to have more color on the map, and so I mean, if it is in fact a situation of attrition, it would appear that the orange faction is ahead of the others. So, but like I said, I just did what was recommended. I didn't really research anything. I really enjoy that feeling of wow, like I can't wait to see what's around the corner. I don't know what's going on. It's exciting to me. So I didn't want to bite off too much as far as like YouTube videos and things of that nature. I kind of waited until questions came up and they were so burning that I couldn't ignore them, and I really wanted to know. For instance, I have no idea my character build. I talked to one streamer, DJ Montague. He's been really helpful in this, and apparently I did this all wrong. But yeah, I just YOLO'd it, threw some gear on. I mean, I didn't feel weak. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. Apparently he's an agility hero, which is really weird to me because I mean he looks pretty Olaf-y to me. But yeah, overall, I'd recommend definitely trying this game out with some buddies. It's easy to hop into. The tutorial is great. I have not seen a tutorial so in depth and thorough that actually made me feel ready to play this game. I love how you jump right into it. It's almost like how you have these games you jump in and it's you feel like you're light years away from playing the actual game. That's one thing I feel like I did not encounter in this game. I felt like I was right in it. One of my buddies, he rolled a healer. My wife, she rolled a DPSer. Another friend rolls a DPSer, and we were just running around. We were just looking around for stuff to do. We literally we took it upon ourselves. We said, you know what? Let's roam into these zones. See, we almost got all the way into the middle. We were out here. We were in these verge zones, and we saw PvP combat. We ganked, we got ganked, we zerged, we got zerged. That was fun. I'm familiar with these terms from Aeon. I mean, I've seen large scale PvP. I did not find any of the large scale PvP per se. I don't really know how to find it. I'm pretty sure there's discords or as I peel more layers of this game back, I will definitely update the progress. I guess a new season's coming out. I'm looking forward to that. But I wanted to, just make a short video, get the information out there. We're having a blast on this game. I obviously, like I said, I played Albion for like 10 minutes, so I can't really compare other than the way it looks and the way you fight, as far as I know. No, let me say one more con that I felt. One more con that I felt was the traveling, and I'm aware in large scale PvP games, like being able to move around too quickly kind of defeats the purpose. But I will say that the traveling is sometimes a deterrent. Like you'll see something happening, and it's like the thought of traveling like on these mounts and how slow they go and how slow you move in general. Like if I see, like, let's say I see something kind of glow, like I see this golden chest and I'm like, wow, like I don't know what this means, but in a couple hours that looks really cool. And I know it's, I have hours to get there, but let's say it was spawning in like 10 minutes, like compared to where I am, I don't know how to recenter the map. I don't, maybe that's the button right there. Got to play around with it a little bit. There we go. I think it should make your marker a little more visible. I'm yellow on yellow here. I can't tell shit as to where I am. Excuse my language, but I definitely think traveling could use a little attention, maybe a little more information on how that all works. I feel like they're just like, hey, relocate Driftmark, and you're thinking you're gonna teleport over there, and that's one thing that kind of deterred some of my buddies. And they're like, it puts you on this yak, and you're like, why am I getting on this yak? I could have just got on my mount. I'm moving the same speed. I don't understand. So I don't know. I think they need to explain that a little more in detail. We made a little warband to, just kind of get our own selves together and not try to hop into something else and, you know, I guess get deterred from our mission. But that's another con I have. And, as I stated earlier, when I come into this underground bazaar, I would like to mouse over these things and know. I mean, I know it's not too tough to just kind of head over there and see what the vendor has to offer. Um, but that's really my only bitch. I mean, I didn't know that also spray painting like this, it costs these crystals that you farm. So, that kind of, I was like, whoa, man, it does show you, like, if you stop to look at it, you'll see the symbol of the crystal in the menu. Let me see if I can pull it up. Right here. So you see, like, if you do it, it shows right here now, 50 crystals. It shows you. But I'm not going to pay those crystals seem pretty important. I'm not going to pay them just to paint on the floor. So, first time's fun, funny, cool. But then after that, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. What happened to all my crystals? So just be careful of that. But I wanted to keep this video short and sweet. I wanted to make it real quick before I head out to work today. And yeah, if you got a group of friends and you want to try it out, even if you want to try it out by yourself, I had plenty of fun. I think this game is headed in a good direction. I think that I as much as I find the traveling to be a con, I also find it to be a pro. A lot of games nowadays, because of teleporting and flight, they just become an XY simulator, move from here to here quickly, quickly, quickly. I think that traveling on foot or on a vehicle on the ground makes a game feel alive. It makes it feel more immersive. I think we've kind of become spoiled by that teleportation shit and instant queue everything. You got to run to places, you got to group up with people. It takes time, it's tedious, but I am having a blast just grouping up with my friends and tackling objectives, whatever we find. I wish it was a little more guided in that sense. The rifts, there's this rifting system. It seems like a dungeon type deal. I just wish it was a little more guided. Like, it just said, hey, go grab some friends and go do this. It's telling you plunder the scrap post. Like the survival guide, you follow that along pretty good. But as I keep thinking of things, I'm kind of freestyling this because I really want to get it out. So if I'm all over the place, excuse me. But I'll leave it there and I'll update as I go. Just wanted to get this out. Everybody, hopefully you enjoy this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna try to do some more stuff regarding my journey through this game and how me and my friends progress. And who knows, maybe we'll get into some of this juicy drama surrounding the rating of the bases, and it looks all very exciting. So have a good day.